Okay, so let's learn how to create a Google website. The first thing, let's go to my website. Okay, and we'll go to week 1 materials. Okay, see down in part 2. You're watching the video, so you clicked on the link. Here's the check for understanding. So after this actual lesson, you should be able to answer all of these questions. Right, so from Google Sites, from your website, all that good stuff. Okay, so these 23 questions you should be able to answer. Okay, again, take the time and answer them. I will not collect these, but this will be what the midterm exam will be based off of. Right, I'll take these exact questions and put them on the exam. All right, so let's go to our site. So open up a new tab. We have 2 ways we can get to our site. Right, to create a site, I go to the app launcher and I can do classic sites here. Okay, if you don't have classic sites, configure your app launcher. So there's a video on how to configure your app launcher, so you can watch that. I have classic sites. If not, I'd hit configure, and then I just type in sites, and then sites would come up. Okay, there's actually a button for new sites, which is awesome, so I'm going to add that to my app launcher. So that's a good thing about Google. It's changing all the time. So a few weeks ago, actually, this shortcut wasn't available. All right, so now it is. Go to new sites. So I'll click new sites, and it pops up my new website. All right, so this is a brand new website that I can create. Okay, first thing I want you to notice, there's a nice little icon over here, right? That if I click, I'll actually go to the site's home. So here's my Google Sites home. Okay, and this is where Google will actually house all of my websites. Okay, and actually it'll house any websites that are linked to me, that people have shared with me. Okay, so you can see that, well, first of all, here's Google Sites. And Google does this for all its apps, right, or its programs. So Google Docs, Google Slides, it'll always have a separate web page you can go to that houses all of your stuff. So here's just the name of it. I can search through all of this whole page. Here's another app launcher, right, just like before. I can set notifications, and this just lets me know it's my account. Okay, so here are all the recent sites. You can see here's a drop-down menu on how I can organize things. So this is owned by anyone. And you can see, well, you can't see, it's not obvious, but these particular individuals had shared their sites with me. That's why I can see them here. Right? So if I pick just owned by me, then here are the 4 sites that I have. Right? And you can see this untitled site is the one we just created. I can change the actual layout, whether I want a list or a grid. I can do the how I sort through things, right? And then also I can open up files and folders and all that good stuff. Okay, so now you'll notice on each individual file here, they are websites, I can click on the website and open it up in a tab. Or if I go back, you can see there are, I guess if I go back, it forgets my settings. You can see there are 3 dots. If I click the 3 dots, I can rename the site, I can remove the site, or I can open a new tab. Okay, so there are 2 ways I can open up my website. I can, well, actually there are 3, and I'll show you that in just a second. One is I can just click on it, right, the icon like I did before. I can click on the 3 dots. Or you'll notice if I go to my actual drive, okay, these are actually listed in my drive. So here's Activity Site, JTicket NWU, Practice Site 1, and Untitled, right here. Right, Untitled, JTicket NWU, Activity Site, and Practice Site 1. These are all in my drive. So I could, if I want to, double click from my drive and open up my website that way. Okay, so there are 3 ways to open up your websites. And two things to take home here. One is Google will actually house all of your websites on one web page, and it'll put it in your drives automatically, right? I didn't have to do any of that. Okay, so that is Google Sites, the housing part of Google Sites. Right? So let's actually go to the website itself. So here's my untitled site. We can call it whatever we want. So notice there are 2 different things here, right? There's an actual site name, and there's a page title name. Okay, these are 2 different things. So let's call this practice site. Okay, so this will just be our practice site. You'll see once I click off that, it automatically puts it in this site name right here. Okay, along the top, like anything else, I have undo, redo. Okay, I also have a nice little preview screen, and there's a cool little trick here. Right, so if I hit preview, this is what my site looks like. And actually, Google has put it into 3 options. This is what it'll look like on a computer screen. Here's what it'll look like on a tablet. And then the third one is what it'll look like on a smartphone. So you get to pick how to look, or you get to see how to look on each individual device. Right, so just click through those and you can see how it looks. Click the X button to get back to your original site, or just back arrow it, back page it. Okay, 3 dots. In Google, 3 dots always means more. Site analytics, so it'll actually do statistics, it'll collect some data. You can send feedback at help, or you can, take a little tour. Okay, on everything that Google does, well, pretty much it's standard for most programs, HTML programs. There's usually 3 things, right? There's a toolbar menu right up on the top. There's some kind of a navigation menu, either right or left. And then there's a work area. Okay, so that's exactly how this is set up as well. So we already went through kind of the toolbar menu. Here now is a navigation menu. You can see I can insert all this stuff. I can hit pages and I can do all this, or I can hit themes and do all this. All right, but here now is kind of a list of options, tools that I can navigate through. Okay, let's do some workspace stuff. So let's go to the title. Just like anything, to edit it, I just click in it. Okay, and let's do title. Let's do this is, my first site. All right. You notice I have little dots on the side. If I grab those, I can extend the actual box where it houses my, so this is just a text box, right? I can extend the size of it so then it doesn't double up. All right. Once I'm in here, if you see, they're kind of hidden here, but here it looks like 10 dots, 5 on 5. If you ever see a bunch of dots on top of one another, in Google that means I can drag it, or I can click and hold it, and then I can drag that text around. So in Google that means move. Okay. Okay. Also you can see, once I'm here, I can change the size. So in HTML, the normal, title, heading, subheading, that's the font size. I can change the alignment, so left, right, middle, or justified. Okay, I can actually put this in as a link. Right, so here's how I can link text. Right, and I'll go over that later. Links are going to be a big deal. Right? Or I can actually just delete the whole thing. These options down below are for this background. So you'll notice it's kind of a, I don't know, gray scale-ish with some lines. So if I want to change the image, I can either upload an image. So if I click upload, you can see it'll go straight to my desktop, and if I have any screenshots or anything, I can actually upload the image. Or I can select an image. And now this is going to be the same throughout all Google things. It's going to give me some pre-images that are already uploaded here, right? So I can click on any one of these. Let's do, I don't know, it's a weird thing. So click on the nice little graph, hit select, and you can see that my background now changed. Once it changed, you'll notice we didn't see these stars before. So if you were to look back in the video, right, you can actually turn on the readability. So what Google has done is, depending on the background and the color of your title, it may kind of muddle, right? It may kind of be hard to read. So what they've done is they've allowed you to click this feature, where if you click this, it'll automatically change the font and the background a little bit. So you can see, I was kind of talking there, but you can kind of see the background a little bit darker so that it's easier to read this. Okay, so it's kind of an automatic adjustment. So reset, right? We can go right back to where we were. Let's undo that. And then the header type. So we can do a large banner, right? We can do just a regular banner, or we can do title only. Okay, so no background at all. Okay, so those are the options for our title. All right, so that was just the title. Now below here, all this white space is all the space of my website where I can actually insert things. Okay, and you'll see that. Let's go to preview. So you can see the preview, they don't show me any of that right navigation stuff, right? I don't see the insert, the pages, any of that. All right, so that stuff is only there. That little navigation kind of tool area is only there for me to create things. Okay, so now you can see it's back. So now this white space here is where I can add things. And let's insert. So I can insert a text box. Okay, as soon as I do that, you'll notice that it gave me a nice little kind of white band. I have some options now. These are the dots. Now they're not horizontal, now they're vertical, but if I were to grab these, it means I can drag it around. I can trash this whole thing. I can change the actual color, right? So let's do emphasis. I can make it a different color. I can make it a different image, and it's just like we did our titles. Okay? I can upload an image, or I can select an image. Let's do coffee and computer. You can see I have just a little bit of it, right? So I do it the exact same way I did this title. And just the way I did my title, here's where I type in my text, right? Let's do, this is inserted text. Okay, so that's how I'll actually insert text. You can see I have the same idea, or the same things here. I have the font. This is the font size. Okay? I can bold it, italicize it. I can do alignment again. Here I can actually put in bullets and numbering. Okay, I can link stuff again, right, which is going to be a big deal later. 3 dots in Google always means more. Okay, so I can do strike through. I can clear the format. The code font is for HTML kind of programmers, so that won't be for us. Okay, notice that I can also change the size. So again, when I see the big circles on the side, so let's change it. Let's make it small, and let's put it right in the middle. Right, and now you can see on my text box, I still have the dots, so I can move it to, I don't know, put it right in the center there. Okay, so that's how I'll insert text. And I can do the same thing and insert an image. So let's go to insert image. I can paste a URL, so I can search. You'll notice here I don't actually have the desktop option right now. Right, so URL, so if I already have a URL address that has a picture, I can insert it. I can search the web. So let's do fish, and then let's choose a fish. So how about this one? Okay, I click it, then I hit select, and you can see it inserts that image right there. All right, I'm going to go back to image because we didn't quite talk about them all just yet. Okay, album. So these are actually things that I have in my drive right now. I can also go to my drive if I know where it's located and click through and go find images. Right? So you just have to know where they are. So for instance, let's say I go to Google Websites, you'll see I don't have any images. All right, so I'll have to actually know what I'm looking for. All right, but we insert them the same way. All right, so we just click on them, and then they'd insert the same way. All right, so now you'll see once we have images, it gave me a whole new text box. Same idea, I can change the background, I can delete it, I can move it. So if I wanted to move the text box, it didn't quite work. I'm going to go right above. So now I put my fish right above that text box. If I click the actual fish, now you can see I have circles, which means I can actually change the size, right, any way I want. I can crop. So when I crop, I have a slider bar. You can see the slider bar will actually kind of zoom in and out of your picture. Once I zoom in or out, I can actually change where my picture is located. So let's say I want the grumpy face right in the middle. Well, let's get a little kind of to the left. Then I hit the OK, and you can see that's how I zoom. All right. Yeah. I can also kind of undo my crop. So if I went to uncrop, I get my original picture. Let's say I like it, so I can undo that and crop it again. I can link this, so I can put a link on the actual picture. So just make a note, you can link text and you can link pictures. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. I can delete the whole thing, or again, I can replace, or the 3 dots means more. I can replace the image, right? So exact same options. Or I can add alternate text. Okay, so how about this is a fish. Okay, and you can see that alt text, it's accessed by screen readers. So any program that will read a screen, so it'll read this as this is a fish. Okay, so that's what the alternate text is. All right, so if we apply, then we're good. Okay, so that's how we can insert images. We can actually embed URL addresses. All right, so embed means put them right on your website. Okay, so let's how about CNN.com. Okay, and you can see, once it actually finds the website, this will be what people will see on your website. Okay, so I'll hit add, and then that's the actual banner. So I've actually inserted the CNN link on my website, right? And I didn't create any of this. CNN's already done this. The website has already done this, right? And sometimes, well, let's do this first before I talk about that. Same thing, all right? It's a new text box. I can move it, right? If I click, I can actually open this in a new tab. I have settings here, right? So I can actually change the title here, right? So I can type whenever I want. I can turn the title on and off. I can turn description on and off, right? I can trash the whole thing. I can expand the text, right? So this is just a text box, all that good stuff, all right? Okay, now you'll notice though, let's embed another one. How about let's try YouTube, all right? You see it's searching, it's searching, it's searching, and then it won't come up, right? So some websites just won't allow you to put things on. So you can do it with your YouTube videos, which I'll show you in later lessons, but don't fret. Some websites just won't let you do it. Okay. And you can see we went through a bunch of reloading, so it really wasn't happy with that for some reason. right? But that's how you embed URL addresses. And you can do anything you want. So pick any website you want, just click embed. And the key here to remember is when you embed things, it puts that actual document or that URL address right on your website. Okay, we can also upload things. So if you click upload, that's how I get access to my desktop. Okay, so anything on my computer I can actually upload. Right? And it'll put it right on my web page. So those are the 4 options. We can insert text box, images, embed URLs, or upload. If you want anywhere on the screen, you can actually double click and you'll get those options. So you don't have to go over here and select them. You can double click anywhere on the screen and it'll pull up kind of a shortcut bar. Well, circle in this case, circles. Okay. All right, below those, you'll see we have other options. Here I have components, so divider, and just like anything, this is new. So as you progress through this, if you keep using the Google Sites, they're going to actually have additions and updates all the time. So I can do a divider. You can see it just puts a nice line in my website. Okay? Like I said, it wasn't there a few months ago. Okay? Same deal, I'm just grabbing it and I can move it wherever I want. I can actually insert. So now anytime I'm on these inserts, these are going to embed these files. Okay, they're going to put these files directly on my website. So let's go from a file or from the drive. If I click, you can see here's my drive. So if I went to my drive, so here's all the ED stuff. Right? So you can see that's all right here. Okay, it's the same stuff. I have the same access. So let's go to 2870. Let's go to Google Websites. How about new? And let's say I wanted to insert the class notes. So I just put class notes and I click insert. And then you can see it put the class notes directly on my web page. Again, I can change the size of the notes. I can open a new tab. I can delete it. I can change the background color. Let's do, how about, for no reason whatsoever, how about this blue? So you can see I can kind of space things out by the color to show that they're a little different. Right? But the key here is these actual notes are directly on the website. And I can do that for anything. If I want to insert a YouTube video, then I just go search YouTube. Right? I can do insert a calendar. So any one of your calendars you can insert. So let's do my NWU calendar. Insert. And you can see now the calendar is on my web page. Okay? And again, the key here is it's embedded on my web page. It's directly on my web page. So people can access the actual calendar from the web page. All right, let's go to the preview. We haven't done this in a while. And you can see what's going on. So here's the computer view. Here's my fish. Here's my text. Here's CNN. So if I were to click CNN, I get their web page. Here are the actual notes. You can see that I can actually scroll through the notes. It's directly on my site. Or I can open it in a new tab. Then here's my calendar. So you can see I could actually navigate through my calendar. All right. So that's what embed does. It puts the actual artifact directly on your website so students can, or anyone can use it. All right, same deal. So here I can put docs, slides, sheets, forms, and charts, all that good stuff. And we'll learn how to use that kind of stuff. Right? But if I just want to put it directly on, and I want to point out here, all of these docs are in my drive. Okay, so if I wanted to upload anything from my desktop, I'd have to go to upload. Right, but as soon as I click on any of the stuff below, then that's going to automatically pop up things that are in my drive. Okay, so these are all the Google Slides that are in my drive. Okay, so you don't have to go hunt for them. So this is kind of a shortcut. I could just go from my drive and then go find it, right? But Google has actually, put in a little shortcut here for certain types of things: docs, slides, forms, sheets, and charts. Okay, but that's how we would embed things. What I want to do now is let's talk about how to link to text, right, or a picture. So what I will do is, so this is different now than embedding. Embedding actually puts the document on your web page. So what I want to do, let's do this. Let's do double click. I want to add some text. Let's do this. This is a link. All right. So I'm going to link something to text. Now, when I link something, it has to be a URL address. And I can do any URL address, right? Let's say I did go to YouTube. Let's say I click on the first thing I see, so I must watch a lot of golf, so there's Phil Mickelson, and here's the YouTube address. right? This is a URL address. So I copy the address. So I hit Command C if you're using a Mac. And now this is where I can do it to text, pictures, anything. I highlight and I use the link button. So now when I link, all I have to do is paste the URL address, hit apply, and now you'll see when I actually go to preview, when I scroll down here, if I were to click on this text, it's going to bring me right to that YouTube video. All right, and I can do that for everything. Right? When I say everything, anything that's an image or a text, I can link to. Okay, now this is going to be a big deal because we can actually do links to our drive. So if you go to my website, right, none of this is embedded. These are all links, and I did this the exact same way I just showed you. So what you do is you go to your drive, you pick a document or a slide, a form, whatever you want. When you click it, you'll notice there's a nice little link button. I get the actual link, and all this link is a URL address. I copy it, and then I can go link it to whatever I want. So let's actually link it to our fish. So I'll go up to my fish. You'll see here's a little link, and then I'll paste my link, hit apply, and now if you go to preview, now when I click the fish, I should get my syllabus. Right? And we get the summer syllabus, right? For whatever reason you want it to be linked to a fish. Okay, so that's how we link to images. So when I say link, I mean URL addresses to images and to text. All right, so let's get out of here, go to my site. Okay, now this is different. So see how these are different. This is embedded. The calendar is actually on my website. This is linked to text, right? This particular one is linked to an image, right? This is embedded. Those are different things. So that's how we insert object into our work area. All right, now let's talk about how to create pages. So this is just one page. In fact, it's my home page. Right? Let's get another page. Right? So you can see home page. Anytime I highlight or I hover, I get options. 3 dots always means more. So I can rename this page or I can create a subpage. Okay, let's do this though. Let's hit the big plus with the sheet or the page, add a page. So now you can see I have a whole new page. And let's do, how about page 1. Hit it done. Now you can see I get the exact same thing I had before. And I can do the exact same stuff. I can change the header type, I can change the font, I can change all that stuff. Once I get in here, you'll notice I'm still on pages, so I go to insert, and now I can do the exact same thing I did before. Let's insert a text box, right? We can change the color. Right? Just like we did on the previous page, right? The home page, I can do all the same stuff here. Right? Now notice also that I have home page and page 1. Right, so now I have 2 pages. So if I click home page, I go back to my home page. If I click page 1, I come back to page 1. Right? I didn't have this toolbar here, this navigation bar, because I didn't have more than one page. But notice now I actually have settings. So I can do either top navigation bar or I can change it to the side. Right? And the side is I have to click on the 3 horizontal lines and then I get my pages. Right? Okay, so let's see what that looks like in the preview. So let's go back to top. Let's preview. I'll just make it smaller for no reason whatsoever. And you can see now I have home page and page 1. All right, I click out. Let's change it now. I have to hover on my navigation bar, hit the settings. Let's do side. Now let's preview. Now you can see the side is right here. So I have page 1 and home. Let's see what it looks like on the phone. Oh, there you go. Okay, so now here's where I have the 3 horizontal lines, and then I can click, right? Because you can see it took up so much space, it looks horrible. But on the actual computer screen, right, which is bigger, it looks like the navigation bar is actually whole. There aren't 3 lines. Which actually the ones I've seen normally even on the computer, I see the 3 horizontal lines. Okay, so now that's a new page. Let's create another page. So let's do page, how about page 1.2. All right, let's hit done. So now what I want to do is I want to actually nest these. Right? So let's say I need to go back and change this page name. Right? Here's the the number of dots have always changed, right? But whenever you see dots lumped together, it means I can grab and move, right? Just like before. Let's see the 3 dots. So I want to actually rename this page. Let's do it 1.1. And you can see there were other options there too. Like I said, as a home page, I can create a subpage, I can remove the page, or I can hide from navigation. Okay, so let's say I don't want it in that navigation bar. And there's no reason you would know this, but this is all new, right? The last 3 or 4 months, it wasn't there, right? We only had a few options. So as you go through this, as you use your Google Sites, just keep in mind, they're always going to update and they're always going to change it. All right, so we're going to actually do a subpage this way. So let's say I want to place this page 1.2 under page 1. What I do is I grab it and I go right above to, now you can see there's on the bottom there's that blue line. And now you can see it's a subpage. Okay, so I'll have home and then I'll have page 1, page 2. All right, so let's make this our top again and let's see what just happened. So actually, let me do this. Let me grab this and move it out. So if you want to make it not a subpage, then just grab and pull it out. And then you can see this is what happened. I have home, page 1.1, and page 1.2. All 3 of them are separate pages. Right? They're always separate pages, but they're on separate lines there. As soon as I nest it, then you can see now page 1 has a drop-down menu, and I'll have a whole bunch of pages. Okay, so that's how I can nest pages in pages. Okay, let's pull it out. So let's make it not a subpage. Then you can see I can actually go to the 3 dots, create a subpage. Let's call this page 1.3. Hit done. And now it did exactly what we did on our own. You can see it made it a subpage. Right, so I have choices here. I can make them just general pages, and then I can just nest them. Or I can create subpages from a page. Okay, notice though, if they're nested, if they're already subpages, you can't make another subpage. So you can't do subpages in subpages. Okay, so that's how we create new pages, and that's how we nest our pages. Okay, the last thing we have are themes. All right, so here, and there are only a few themes. Again, it'll update and get better and better and better. Here are the simple themes. So you see I have simple here. I can change the colors. I can actually select my own colors. Right? And then I can select my font style. Okay, so you can see how all this is changing. So we can do Aristotle. Again, I can change my colors. I can change my font style. Right, so it looks like I have these 6 to work with. And it's all the same stuff. You get colors, you get font styles, and you can actually change your, customize your color to whatever you want. All right. You can see as you work through this, I'd go back, let's see, go back to the home, and see how things change. All right. So as you mess around with your fonts, see how things change. All right. And then, again, you can always preview. So this is what it looks like on a computer. Here's a tablet, all that good stuff. All right. Okay, so now the very important thing to realize here is this is just a working site. Okay, you'll notice I haven't talked about this, but there's a huge publish button. Right now, this site is not published, right? I'm the only one that can see this site, right? And where can I see it? I can see it in my drive. Right, here's my practice site. Or if I went to my actual Google Sites where it housed all my stuff, I can see it. Again, remember I have a lot of these. So here's my site. Okay, so this is what I call a working site. It's not published yet. It's just where I kind of mess around with things. To publish it so that people in the whole entire world could see it, I have to click publish. Okay, and then I have some questions here. So I don't have to publish it under this actual name. And you can see what's going to happen is your site will always be sites.google.com/view/ whatever I type in here. So let's do this. How about JTkin NWU practice site? Okay, and you can see actually I had never hit a space for it, but I hit a space, I get a nice little dash. And now this site, this actual name has to be available. So if for some reason JTkin NWU practice site, someone has already taken that, then I can't name the site that. Okay? Once I pick something, then I hit, and you can see here is the actual website. So it's going to be HTTPS, right, secure, google.com view, and then the name I just typed in. So if I want anywhere, if I want to actually link this to anything, this is actually the address. Okay, so let's hit publish. and now it's publishing. And now this site is live. So you'll see if I go to a new tab and I paste in that address and hit enter, I'll get this site. Okay, whereas before I published it, it wouldn't have existed. Okay, all right, so now look what happened. I still have published, but I have a nice little arrow. So this is how you can tell if sites are published, because you have a nice little arrow, because you have publish options. So we go to publish settings. I can at any time I want change the name of my site, the link, the actual URL address. I can view my published site, right? And so now if you need to get or you forget your URL address, just view your published site, and then here's the address right here. Right? I don't need the home part. That's my address, so that's how I can link things. Right? And then lastly, we can actually unpublish the entire site. So if I don't want it on the web anymore, I just unpublish it. Okay? All right. You need to make a very big note about this. So I want you to watch this. Let's go to my published site and see the fish. Right? The fish is there. Now let's go to my working site, and that's a big deal too, right? There are two sites. There's the published site, the ones that people in the world will see, and the working site, the thing that I will see. Let's go to my fish, and let's delete my fish. Okay? Now you can see I deleted my fish. It's all gone. Well, let's go to the published site. See, my fish is still there. Well, let's refresh the screen to see if that fixes it. You can see even with refresh, my screen is still there. This is the part that you have to make a huge note about. Your actual published site will not change. So to save your published site, you have to hit publish again. So as soon as I hit publish again, now I've saved my site to the world. Okay, and you can see the fish is still there. It's only because I need to refresh my screen. If I refresh, the fish is gone. Okay, and that's going to be a huge problem when you turn in your assignments. You're not going to hit publish. All right, you have to hit publish to actually change the public site. All right, that's the big warning right there. And past that, those are sites, the new Google sites.